The NHS is urging more Black Londoners to give blood and help save lives. Health experts say they're more likely to suffer from rare conditions or have a rare blood group and need to recruit around 7,000 new donors in the next 6 years. Sonia Jessup has more details.
No, you got to keep still, you can't move.
Shalona Willie from Hackney knows she and her 5-year-old daughter may owe their lives to a blood donor. Shalona has sickle cell anemia. At 38 weeks pregnant, she fell critically ill.
My body literally went into shutdown. I wasn't functioning. I was literally living off painkillers. And the days went by and I had no idea what day of the week it was or anything.
She was saved by a blood transfusion, but she knows she was lucky. More donors, specifically from the Black community, are needed. Why? Well, donated blood is used for a number of reasons, but for some blood disorders, it's best to find a donor from the same ethnic background. Sickle cell anemia, for example, which is more likely to affect the Black community. Black people are also more likely to have one of the rarer blood groups, such as B positive, RO and ROR.
There's a mixture of reasons why people don't step forward to donate blood, but the number one I hear is they didn't know that we needed their blood. So quite simply, we're here today telling all of London we need blood from the Black community.
The NHS is hoping to sign up 7,000 new Black donors within the next 6 years. And as London is home to half the UK's Black population, this is an important place to target. Orrin Lewis has been campaigning for more Black donors ever since his stepson Daniel De-Gale was diagnosed with leukemia. It took years to find him a suitable bone marrow donor. And after that, he needed regular blood transfusions. He died 6 years ago after multiple organ failure from an unrelated illness.
Carrying this card is so important because it means that I'm doing something amazing to help others in need. I feel it's my duty of care to give back to the NHS that helped my son throughout for many years.
It is a selfless act and you are literally helping someone get life, literally. You are giving life by just sitting there for half an hour donating blood.
Sonia Jessup, BBC London News.
And I'm joined now by Orrin Lewis, who you saw in that report. You co-founded a charity 18 years ago to appeal for more black bone marrow and blood donors. All these years later, are you surprised that there's still a shortage of donors?
Surprised and disappointed that we're still talking about this 18 plus years later, knowing that less than 1% of Black donors are on the register, but yet 4% of the population. You know, if Daniel didn't get blood from the wider community when he needed it, he wouldn't have survived for so many years. So it's a big push by NHS Blood and Transplant and ourselves, the ACLT, to try and get more people, especially young Black Londoners, to step forward.
Well, let's talk about that, because you said young Black Londoners, obviously so that they can donate for many years to come. Is it harder to connect with them, despite the power of social media these days, or is there something else going on?
It actually should be easier, as because you say social media, but what's happening is that there's so many distractions in their lives. This here today, gone tomorrow, sort of got to do it now, and we need to focus them on some of the most important things of life, about giving of yourself to help your peers and others in the wider community. So it's getting them to just stop, listen, take stock and make decisions based on facts rather than the prevalent myths and fears and taboos.
As we heard in that report, they called it a selfless act, as you mentioned there. Now, many people were inspired by the story of your son, Daniel, and a search for a bone marrow donor. After all these years, Orrin, what keeps you campaigning?
We don't want anyone to go through what myself and Beverly went through as parents of a child that desperately needs help, blood donations, bone marrow donations, organ donations. We want people to be proactive rather than reactive. So the majority of people, if they can be on standby as a donor, then it makes a massive difference to someone in need. Save seven babies, 3 adults. It could make a massive difference, blood donation. And that's what Daniel survived on, blood donations for the last years of his life. It's a no-brainer.
Well, let's hope people are listening. Orrin Lewis, thank you so much for coming in this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hundreds of people